this guy was a lightning fella, you know. He was really after lightnings, but if there was no lightnings, he'd go after a storm. He'd go after, you know, he'd really go after fucking anything, really, as long as it was natural.
Yeah.
You know, natural, and he'd get it all off the internet, and he'd be in his car, off his laptop, and he'd whiz over to the place, you know. Sometimes he wouldn't make it, sometimes he would, and people were telling him to turn back. He'd rope him, here you go. He'd rope himself to the car because he'd have to. Just in case it got blown away, because it was like 100 or 200 mile an hour winds or something like that. If you can get that, it may have been 100 mile an hour, I don't know.
Yeah.
But the quality was, fucking hell! I couldn't believe from such a. I thought it was a small camera, but looking at this camera, you know, fucking hell, it was big. Excuse me. I'm a messy eater sometimes.
I have the age of wisdom, the experience, not forgetting the love, to conduct all that will follow in ways you lot can never understand, selfishly grieving while Maria is losing hair, mum. You will show nothing but that which I, having censored, may confirm. Give it a few days here in this house under my roof and you'll soon learn. It's now 5 AM, eyelids plead into eyeballs for merciful sleep, but Ron pours outside her to help with the grief. Ruth wrestles her next Bacardi, and confused, lost as she sits, sips, bites her nails till she's bitten off all the tips. She grips my hand, she chews on her lip. Ron pipes in with, biting nails is most unhygienic. We sit, clicking away in this undercurrent of violence, with no comforts but warm cider, cold thoughts, and then silence. 1, 2, 3.
Brilliant.
That's it, mate.
That was, that pulled it off. But do you know, you said absolute something.
Yeah.
I think it should have been tits.
I heard you shouting tits. I want to do with tits.
I know, but just
fingertips. She didn't bite her tits, did she? She bit her finger in it.
No.
Oh, look, fingertips, I'm off now.
no, I think you should have put tits in.
There were no tits involved. You can't put tits in where there is
But
no tits. You can't just throw a tit in because there's a tit that you fancy one. You need a tit story, don't you?
I don't know what a tits look like.
Well, if you've got a tit story, then you can have a tit phenomenon.
No,
you can have tits everywhere, but you can't have a tit unless there's a reason for the tit to be there. It's like having a comma when there's no comma.
It should have been, just...
There were no tits. There's no tits.
I know there's no tits, but just...
It was fingertips. I'm not going to throw tits in when it's fingertips.
Look, isn't this fingertips?
Yeah, but that... Oh. There's the connection.
When the family gets together.
I thought you'd done brilliant.
I'll promise there'll be tits in it next time.
That was ace, that Kev. It really was good. I get nervous and do you know, as I was saying to you last night, you know, your voice.
Yeah.
Do you know, when I used to do gigs, I used to, the production people on the desk, they used to fucking hate me because I'd only be doing a little bit at the back, you know, but they'd spend more time on me than the main singer.
Yeah,
because I had it triggered off with my foot. You know, I'd trigger my voice off with my foot to the microphone. It was a strange way of doing it, but it added everything I needed to make me sound, well, better than I could, you know, possibly sound, really. Yeah, I'd say that's true. You know, I want everyone to be, you know, it's a bit like, well, alright, we'll call the band Wolf Flamos. I changed my name to that, you know. Wolf Flamos, or as Kevin would call it, Wolf of Flame Arse. But alright, you know, the band
Oh,
would
yeah.
be called Kevin Amos, and it's, you know, I don't want that.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you do something that I wouldn't think of. We've talked about this.
Yeah, yeah, well that's what the whole band thing's about, isn't it?
Yeah, and
It's,
so that would make me think of something that
yeah, just,
I wouldn't have,
yeah, that's
wouldn't have thought
how
of.
you get all your ideas. You just
Yeah, but that's, you know, that's what I think, and I don't just think it, I believe it, you know. It's because I've experienced it, you know, in bands, and I've played with people who brought things out in my playing that I didn't even know that I could do, you know.
yeah.
And so that is, you know, how positive is that? It's very positive.